The only dictator in your life, not some government official, the only dictator in your life is the government of your mind. The government of your mind is the dictator. The government in your mind is the law of your being. The mental images that you create in your mind, they never suffer opposition like mankind's different governments can. What you think at any given moment and pump emotional energy into is the law which your subconscious mind, since it reasons deductively and accepts every premise that you imagine as true in its own time with no opposition from anyone or anything, because there is no opposition. It eventually will grind those mental imaginings, the good or the not so good, back into your life as your reality. That's the truth of your being, my friends. Pure and simple. So, what you need to get to understand is the following. The human mind, your mind, is like a fertile ground where seeds are constantly being planted. And the seeds are the seed of your mental imaginings. Every seed, be it apple seed, orange seed, or whatever, every seed, when it germinates and matures, it bears the likeness of the seed. Apples bear apple trees, oranges, orange trees, and so forth and so on. Your thought seeds, which are your mental images, likewise do the same. Positive, uplifting, imaginative images bear their likeness. Negative, degrading images bear their likeness. And it can never be any other way. So what I'm telling you, and I've been telling you for the past 6 weeks now, is all that we ever see and experience is our inner world of imagination. Our own state of mind, seemingly outside of ourselves. Really, there is no outside, though there appears to be. That's the magic in our mind. Our invisible thoughts that only we see as an individual. Eventually we see it as our outside. We live in a world where we see outwardly the manifestation of other people's thinking, because all of us are connected to the source, which is absolute imagination. We all have imagination. And what we see in our world at any given moment is what we have imagined about whatever, whoever, wherever, whenever, and what others have imagined. And all of that imagining has been and is an inner process. And magically we see those mental images having, dressed itself with the atoms and molecules of what we call physicality, and we see it as though, or we see it and them as though it is something outside of ourselves. But it is really within our own self. The entire world is within you. The entire universe is within you. and no place else. That's the truth, whether you want to realize that or not. It has been through imagination wherein man has fashioned his and her collective world. And it is through your imagination wherein you have fashioned your private world and will fashion your future world. You could pick up the newspaper on any day, or at least during the course of a week, and you'll read somewhere where, let's take for example, where someone has robbed a bank. Now, what did it take for that person to rob the bank? Well, they had to first see it in their imagination. Otherwise, they would never rob the bank. They had to go out and possibly buy a knife or a gun or whatever, a threatening instrument, or in pretending that they had some kind of threatening, weapon in their possession. They had to imagine the image and do it. The mental image came first. And that is true for everything that you do, positive or negative. No matter how fleeting the imagined image, thought, the mental image precedes all physical activity. I repeat, thought, the mental image within your own self, precedes any act that you will ever do, no matter how fast the action. If a person slaps another person, they imagine it first, because their hand is not going to go out and automatically punch somebody of its own accord. If your hand ever does that, my friend, you are in deep, deep, deep trouble. But your physical body needs a command to do anything. And that command is always done mentally, following the dictates of what you have imagined. Pure and simple, as I have told you in the past 6 weeks, God, whatever you conceive God to be, is in you as your imagination. That's why you have the ability to create with your imagination. As I said about 20 minutes ago, you didn't create that ability, but you have it. Where did it come from? It came from what I call the infinite all, or what some call God, some call Allah. The name is not important. What is important is God is in you as your imagination and is the power in and behind your imagination. So whatever you imagine yourself to be, that is what you believe God to be, because you and God are one.